lives, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina tells Awami League Presidium meeting. Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir issues directive to form 8 divisional committees to boost party's organizing activities. Government actions display foresight as Bangladesh economy bouncing back, riding over corona pandemic, says ADB evaluation. Commerce Minister Tipu Munshi urges people not to panic about onion as country has sufficient stock and import of kitchen item in pipeline. Train services running full swing with capacity load, maintaining health guidelines from today. Japan elects Yoshihide Suga as country's new Prime Minister. Sheikh Hasina greets her new Japanese counterpart. And England set a victory target of 303 runs for Australia in series-deciding third ODI. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to News at 10 on BTV World, and from BTV Chattogram Centre, I am Zafar Imam with you. You have heard the headlines. Now we move on to detail. She said Bangladeshi expatriates are facing some difficulties due to COVID-19 and some of them have to return home. Sheikh Hasina said many feared that the remittance will experience a setback in this pandemic, but it showed the opposite trend. From the very beginning of the crisis, she said the government wanted to keep the economy of the country moving, facing all the challenges. She said, adding the government also declared stimulus packages for keeping the trade and commerce functional on a limited scale. The Prime Minister stressed the need for preparing a concept paper or guideline or framework for next generation to run the state towards advancement in future.
রাজনৈতিক দল হিসেবে আমরা যে অন্য দলগুলি দেখি তারা হয়তো শুধু ওই লিপ সার্ভিস অর্থাৎ মুখে মুখে কথা বলেছে, কিন্তু প্রকৃত মানুষের কাছে যে মানুষকে সাহায্য করা সেটা কিন্তু আমরা অন্য দল বা অন্য সংস্থা তাদেরকে আমরা সেভাবে কিন্তু ওভাবে দেখি নাই। কিন্তু আমাদের আওয়ামী লীগের এবং আমাদের সহযোগী সংগঠনের নেতা কর্মীরা কিন্তু জীবনের ঝুঁকি নিয়ে তারা কাজ করেছে। সেই সাথে আমি প্রশংসা করি আমাদের প্রশাসনের কর্মকর্তারা, তারা কর্মচারী সবাই আন্তরিকতার সাথে কাজ করেছে। একমাত্র আওয়ামী লীগ সরকার ক্ষমতায় ছিল বলে এইভাবে সাধারণ মানুষের কথা চিন্তা করেছে এবং মানুষকে সহযোগিতা করেছে। অন্য কোনো দলের এটা মোটেই করতো না, বরং তারা দেখতো যে কিভাবে এখান থেকে কিছু ফায়দা লুটতে পারে কিনা। আওয়ামী লীগ যেহেতু জাতির পিতা বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমানের নেতৃত্বে এই সংগঠনই এই দেশের স্বাধীনতা এনেছে, তা যে আমরা যখন সরকারে আছি আমাদের দায়িত্ব হচ্ছে যে দেশটা শুধু বর্তমানেই না, আগামী দিনের নতুন প্রজন্মের জন্য কিভাবে এই দেশটা এগিয়ে যাবে, কিভাবে চলবে, সেটাই আমাদের এখন থেকে আমরা প্রস্তুতি নিয়ে রাখবো বা আমরা নির্দেশনা দিয়ে দেব। হ্যাঁ, এটা ঠিক যে এখন আমরা যেটা করছি সময়ের বিবর্তনে সেটা কিন্তু সংশোধন করতে হবে, পরিবর্তন করতে হবে, পরিশোধন করতে হবে, এটা করতে হবে, এটা নিয়ম, সেটা আমরা জানি। কিন্তু তারপরে একটা ফ্রেমওয়ার্ক, একটা ধারণাপত্র অথবা একটা দিক নির্দেশনা সেটা যদি সামনে থাকে তাহলে যে কোনো কাজ খুব সহজে যারাই আসুক ভবিষ্যতে তারাই করতে পারবে।
Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir has asked party leaders to form 8 divisional committees for strengthening organizational activities of the party across the country. He said Awami League President Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina made the directives at a meeting of Awami League Presidium members held at Ganobhavan this morning. Obaidul Qadir told this to journalists at a briefing at his official residence in the capital after the meeting of Awami League Presidium members. He said no nepotism will be tolerated while forming the divisional committees. Obaidul Qadir said sincere, honest and loyal leaders must be considered during the formation of the subcommittees.
ইতিপূর্বে আওয়ামী লীগের যে সকল জেলা, মহানগর ও সহযোগী সংগঠনের সম্মেলন অনুষ্ঠিত হয়েছে। তাদের পূর্ণাঙ্গ কমিটি জমা দেওয়ার শেষ তারিখ ছিল এ মাসের 15 তারিখ। বেশিরভাগই জমা দিয়েছেন। যারা এখন পর্যন্ত জমা দেননি তাদেরকে আগামী 7 দিনের মধ্যে সভানেত্রীর অফিসে যার যার কমিটি জমা দেওয়ার নির্দেশ দেওয়া হচ্ছে। ওয়ার্ড, ইউনিয়ন এবং উপজেলা কমিটি করে জেলা সম্মেলন করতে হবে, এটা সবাইকে স্মরণ করিয়ে দেওয়া হচ্ছে। নির্বাহী কমিটির সম্পাদকগণ যারা এখনো উপকমিটি জমা দেননি তাদের আগামী 1 সপ্তাহের মধ্যে সংশ্লিষ্ট চেয়ারম্যানদের সাথে পরামর্শ করে উপকমিটি জমাদানের নির্দেশ দেওয়া হচ্ছে। আগামী 28 সেপ্টেম্বর আমাদের দলের প্রধান বঙ্গবন্ধু কন্যা দেশরত্ন শেখ হাসিনা 74তম জন্মবার্ষিকী। স্বাস্থ্যবিধি মেনে মিলাদ মাহফিল, দোয়া, সীমিত আকারে সর্বপর্যায়ে আলোচনার মাধ্যমে দিবসটি পালনের আহ্বান জানাচ্ছি।
Outgoing Chairman of Public Service Commission PSC, Dr. Muhammad Sadiq, paid a courtesy call on President Mohammad Abdul Hamid at Bongo Bhavan this afternoon. Later, in a briefing, President's Press Secretary Mohammad Janul Abidin told the reporters that during the meeting, the outgoing PSC Chairman expressed gratitude to the President for extending cooperation in discharging his duties. The outgoing PSC Chairman also apprised the President of overall activities of the Commission and various steps taken during the tenure. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid thanks the outgoing PSC Chairman for discharging his duties successfully. Lauding the steps taken by PSC Chairman, the President expressed hope that these activities would help to uphold the image of organization in future. During the meeting, President's Office Secretary Shampod Borua, Military Secretary Major General S.M. Shamimuzzaman, and Secretary attached to the President Office, Muhammad Wahidul Islam Khan, were present. Bangladesh economy has started recovering from the pandemic as prudent macroeconomic management and speedy implementation of government stimulus measures are key imperatives to ensure the projected recovery of its economy, said the Asian Development Bank ADB. Despite significant pressure on health and pandemic management systems, government has managed the economy well, with appropriate economic stimulus and social protection measures, ensuring basic services and commodities for the poor and vulnerable, said ADB Country Director Manmohan Prakash. He said recent economic performance in export and remittances and government's macroeconomic management, including securing foreign funds for economic stimulus and social protection, have made this recovery feasible. The ADB, in its Asian Development Outlook 2020 update released, also said Bangladesh's gross domestic product GDP is expected to grow by 6.8% in fiscal year 2021. The growth reflects gradual recovery supported by a strong manufacturing base and strengthening of growth in export destinations. The Chattogram port saw a sheer low trend in export-import in April due to coronavirus fallout. Especially, exports through this port marked significant fall. The coronavirus pandemic has brought the Chattogram port almost to a standstill in export-import since the beginning of the year. However, the wheels of the economy have started getting momentum due to reopening of mills and factories. Stimulus packages allocated by the government have played a pivotal role in this regard. The Chattogram port is also getting momentum again as the economy of the country has begun bouncing back. Some 82% import and 91% export of the country took place through this Chattogram port. Imported onion from India has started to enter into Bangladesh from this morning through Hilly land port after 2 days of suspension. On last Monday and Tuesday, onion import was stopped, but huge amount of onion on stock at government and private warehouses. The government will import onion from 5 countries, including China, to bring the local market in control and make it stable. Besides this, Trading Corporation of Bangladesh, TCB, is selling onion at prices of 30 taka to decrease temporary crisis. of the onion. TCB is selling onion at various points in the capital from this morning. Retailers and consumers alleged that some dishonest wholesalers are responsible for this artificial crisis. They spread the fake news about onion import, and this news went viral, which makes bonanza for them. Meanwhile, the process to import onion from 6 countries has started. 101 organizations have got permission to import 48,056 metric tons of onion. Commerce Minister Tipu Munshi said there is nothing to panic about onion, as the country has sufficient stocks of the kitchen item for meeting the normal demand. The minister was speaking at a press conference on the stock, supply and price situation of essential commodities, including onion, at the Secretariat today. The minister informed that the monthly demand of onion is around 2 lakh tons and current stock of onion of the country is around 6 lakh tons. Tipu Munshi said there is nothing to panic about onion. The government is taking up all sorts of strategies to keep the prices of onion at logical level. He said that the government is going to link e-commerce with TCB to bring the prices under control. The minister said that the supply chain of onion will become normal within 1 month. Train service have started running today with passengers on all seats on all routes of the country. Commuter and local train alongside intercity ones are also running with full seat capacity. Intercity train services reopened on May 31st on a limited scale with passengers on 50% seats due to coronavirus situation. Later, commuter and local trains were also allowed to run similarly. But the railway authorities have decided to go on full operations from today, putting emphasis on health guidelines. As per the decision of the management, from now on 50% tickets of all intercity trains will be sold out online and the rest will be available at counters. Authorities will go tough against passengers travelling without tickets, said Kamalapur station manager. World Ozone Day 2020 was observed today in Bangladesh, like other countries in the world, through various programs. The theme of the day of this year is Ozone for Life, 35 years of ozone layer protection. Marking the World Ozone Day 2020, a national seminar was organized at the auditorium of the Department of Environment at Agargaon in Dhaka this afternoon. Minister of Environment, Forests and Climate Change, Mohammad Shahabuddin, attended the seminar as chief guest. The minister said necessary activities are being continued in association with all concerned to face adverse impact of climate change and to save environment. He said government is firmly determined to protect environment for greater interest of sustainable development. The minister said all programs to save environments are taken and implemented following Montreal Protocol on ozone sphere. Presided over by Secretary of the Ministry, the seminar was also addressed, among other, by Deputy Minister Habibun Nahar, Director General of Department Environment Dr. A.K.M. Rafiq Ahmed, and UNDP President Representative Sudipto Mukherjee. 21 more COVID-19 patients died in the last 24 hours in the country, increasing the death toll from pandemic to 4,823. The recovery count rose to 2,47,969 after another 2,375 recovered during this period. A press release of the Director General of Health Services said this today. He said the tally of infections has surged to 3,42,671 as 1,650 new cases were confirmed in the last 24 hours. Now international news. The number of confirmed coronavirus infections in India has surpassed 5 million. Officials say the second highest in the world after the United States. The virus appears to be spreading much faster in India than any other country, with daily cases crossing 90,000 for the 5 days up until Tuesday. More than 82,000 people have died. The US the current epicenter of the pandemic, has now 67,94,000 confirmed cases and 2,618 deaths. In Brazil, total death toll from COVID-19 is over 1,33,000, while 43,84,860 people were infected. Global corona death toll crosses 9,41,000 with more than 2,98,60,000 infected. On the other hand, more than 2,16,15,000 people have recovered so far. Japan's parliament has elected Yoshihide Suga as the country's new prime minister following the surprise resignation of Shinzo Abe. After winning the leadership of governing party earlier this week, Wednesday's vote confirms the former chief cabinet secretary's new position. Mr. Suga then easily won a poll for prime minister in the Diet, Japan's lower house, receiving 314 out of 462 votes. Given that a coalition headed by his conservative Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, holds the majority in the House, his win was widely expected. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has extended her heartiest congratulations to Yoshihide Suga on his appointment as the Prime Minister of Japan, saying that she is looking forward to working in a closer tie with the new Japanese Premier. Prime Minister's Press Secretary Ihsanul Karim said the Prime Minister extended the warmest greetings to the new Japanese Premier through a congratulatory message. Yoshihide Suga election is the testimony of his dynamic leadership, tenacity and trust by ruling Liberal Democratic Party and the people of Japan, she said. Sheikh Hasina said Bangladesh and Japan enjoy a trusted friendship and robust bilateral relations since Bangladesh's independence in 1971. Expressing deep gratitude for the continued support of Japan, the Premier expects that the perpetuity of same under his able stewardship. In this regard, Sheikh Hasina said she is looking forward to working in a closer tie with the new Japanese Prime Minister to further engagements between the two countries in all spheres of cooperation. The Prime Minister extended her invitation to new Japanese Premier to visit Bangladesh at an early and opportune time. US President Donald Trump has hailed the dawn of a new Middle East and Israel's landmark deals with the United Arab Emirates, UAE and Bahrain. Mr. Trump spoke as the two Gulf states signed agreements fully normalizing their relations with Israel. The three countries hailed the deals as historic, as did Mr. Trump, whose administration helped broker them. The Gulf states are just the third and the fourth Arab countries to recognize Israel since its founding in 1948. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu welcomed the deal, saying this day is a pivot of the history. It heralds a new dawn of peace. But Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas said only an Israeli withdrawal from occupied territories could bring peace to the Middle East. Now, news on sports. England set a victory target of 303 runs for Australia in the series deciding third ODI in Manchester. Earlier, England on the toss and decided to bat first. The England scored 302 runs for 7 wickets in their stipulated 50 overs. Johnny Bairstow scored 112 runs, while Sam Billing scored 57 and Chris Wokes was unbeaten on 53 runs for England. Now to end the bulletin headlines once again. Awami League leaders and workers always stood by people in any calamity during coronavirus, risking lives, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina tells Awami League Presidium meeting. Awami League General Secretary Badul Qadir issues directive to form 8 divisional committees to boost party's organizing activities. Government actions display foresight as Bangladesh's economy bouncing back, riding over corona pandemic, says ADB valuation. Commerce Minister Tipu Munshi urges people not to panic about onion as country has sufficient stock and import of kitchen item in pipeline. Train services running full swing with capacity load, maintaining health guideline from today. Japan elects Yoshihide Suga as country's new Prime Minister. Sheikh Hasina greets her new Japanese counterpart. And England set a victory target of 303 runs for Australia in series deciding third ODI. And that's all from our newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us, and we invite you to watch our 11:30 Bangla news. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.